We are. There we go. We're recording to the cloud. Welcome, everybody. I see John. Oh, our convener, our connector. Oh, my goodness. The man of the hour. He's here. I see Daisy. I see Julie Demers. I don't think I've ever met you, Julie, virtually at least. That's a new name for me. So welcome. Welcome aboard. Yay, we're good. So glad you're here. And I see Missy. Missy, where's Bob?
Bob's working.
Oh, man. Tell him we miss him.
I will. He'll like that. Thank you.
But welcome, everybody. Today is the 7th of December, 2021. And we are on the John Lavinia Success Mastermind platform, just in case you're wondering where we're at. The reason why we're so happy is our energy levels kind of like rise when we get on this platform because the conversations here are just amazing. Lives have been changed, transformed. People are getting about, doing stuff. They're achieving goals. Dreams are happening. They're no longer dreams, they're becoming reality. I mean, it's exciting. So if you're not part of this conversation, you need to get on board. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you're at, but this is where you need to be because stuff is happening. There are movers and shakers on this platform, right? So having plugged that, and that's all the plugging I'm going to do today, welcome to today's general session. My name is Ivié Barnabas, and I will be facilitating the session this evening. And a lot of stuff has happened for me in the last 2 weeks, and some of it John knows. But I was thinking of what do I talk about tonight, right? Well, it's tonight for me. It's probably morning for most of you, but my day is ended already. And I had such fantastic news yesterday that I've been thinking, what fed into that outcome? What made that happen? And two things came to mind like really strongly. I didn't even have to think too much about this. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today more than anything else. One is timing. Secondly is what I call enablers or connectors, of which John Lavinia and Shannon, oh my God, they are major connectors, right? So if you don't know them, you need to get these people in your file of facts, in your contacts, like hook up with them. They are super duper connectors. What do I mean by that? For a lot of us, our dreams are still on vision boards. If we are closer, we probably put them down to goals and we have monthly targets and stuff like that. We've broken them down into the smaller, achievable milestones, right? But for a lot of us, it's still a dream. It's still that my 5-year plan, this is what I'd like to see, this is where I want to be. And then we drill down to why do we want that, right? We all know about discovering our why. We go down, okay, so why do you want that? And then we ask why again, why do you want that? Until we get to the core that's actually pushing us forward, getting us out of bed every day to keep doing what we're doing, expecting that our reality is going to change, right? But two things for me, timing and connectors or enablers were the two things that were jumping up in my head this week. And so if you're looking for a title for today's chat, it's one, timing, and enablers / connectors. I don't know what you want to call them, but that for me, it's just enablers. So as always, I'm going to tell you a story because I work better. I like illustrations. I'm very visual. And so for me, stories kind of like bring the point home. So I am going to tell a story. And I'm going to tell a story from maybe 4.5 years back till present day, right? And I'm going to condense it. A lot of stuff happened in between, but I'm going to give you the salient points so you can see where I'm coming from. Now, I've been doing what I've been doing for, okay, hang on. I got some weird message on my screen. Okay, that's gone now. I've been doing what I'm doing for over a decade, right? So I pretty much know what I'm doing. If you wake me up at night and ask me, what do you do? How do you do what you do? I can probably read it off half asleep, right? I don't have to think about it. It's so in my DNA now, I do it. And I'm in a very niche environment. So I work in aviation finance, right? So basically I work with airlines, leasing companies, but aircraft are the metal, the assets, the product. That's what I deal with, right? So these things are massive, they're expensive, they're, putting a financing package together is no small feat. A lot goes into it, but that's the space I work in, right? So it's not as easy as, oh, I want to get a loan because I want to buy, I want to get a mortgage for my house, or I want to buy a car. Can I do an HP agreement? No. It's a bit more involved than that because you're talking a massive asset, right? There's a lot of insurance to consider. There are a lot of players in there. You got to deal with the manufacturers. And sometimes in fact, most times you have it bespoke, so customized to the individual client. So their colors, they want their branding on it. They will want the seats a certain way. They will want the electronics a certain spec. A lot goes into it, right? And all of that feeds into the final price. Anyhow, so I've been doing this for over a decade, but a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and for 3 years before that, I had a particular boss, right? And things went so bad, so quickly, so rubbish, right? That pretty much this boss, if anybody read the stuff he wrote about me, you would have thought, okay, the Ivié I see, the Ivié I know is not matching with this write-up, right? Basically, it was like I was incompetent, didn't know what I was about, shouldn't have the job, had no, I mean, just try and think of any kind of rubbish you can put on paper, right? They threw the kitchen sink and everything in this document, right? And I was like, hang on a minute, I've been doing this for close to a decade, right? If I don't know what I'm doing by now, Houston, we have a problem, right? Like, come on, right? I've been doing this. No deal has ever gone south. Clients come back, they've got raving reviews. And then I got told, oh, but we got feedback from people, and this is what they've said. I said, well, show me the feedback, right? Tell me the people you've spoken to, because everybody I've asked, who I work with, nobody said or corroborated this written statement, right? So of course I escalated this because I was like, if you tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'm the first person to put both hands and feet up and fess up. I mean, I'm so big on, I dropped the ball, I'm so sorry, it won't happen again. But if I don't get reality check, if it's not true, if I don't get the data to like back that up, if there's no proof, if there's no evidence, I'm not buying it. I'm gonna keep asking until you give me the real reason behind what's going on, right? So anyhow, so I had this boss, and only God knows what he was telling people behind closed doors. But before I knew it, his boss was thinking of me in that light, and his boss's boss was thinking of me in that light. And so I thought, okay, how am I going to strategically get to talking with not just his boss, but his boss's boss? Because I mean, you got to go where the power is, right? You got to speak to the person who can actually rejig stuff. Because if you know your worth, you're not going to sit down and let somebody tell you you're rubbish when you know you've been doing a good job, right? Fine. If I've been unwell, if I've been, dropping, I will put my hand up and say, you know what? I missed the boat there. I'll apologize and I'll get it right. But if I don't have the evidence to support what the allegations that are being thrown at me, I'm not going to take that sitting down. So of course I fought this, right? So I went to everybody and anybody who would listen in the organization, and it got really formal, like really serious, really quick, right? And I got everybody on side. I went to HR, you name it. I spoke to everybody. I went to the unions, everybody. I got them on side. And I said, look, can somebody just give me the data, the evidence that proves what this written statement is saying? Because I'm not taking this sitting down. At the end of the day, all I have is my reputation, right? Like John says, integrity is everything, right? And the way you show up, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And because I know who I am, I wasn't going to take somebody marring or tarring my reputation. And I was like, no, where's the proof? Where's the evidence, right? So of course, I brought my case forward and I said, yada, 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 this is what had happened. And of course, he came up and said his, and it just boiled down to, you know what, this guy, I don't know what planet you're on. His boss's boss, so 2 levels above him, said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to restructure the team. Now, what I'm doing now, the position I hold now, never existed. But because of the person I am, 2 levels up, they recreated the team, right? Created a position just for me. This position had never existed. It was like piled on and merged with something else. So I was doing that and something else 3 or 4 years ago, right? But this guy said, look, we understand you want to stay in the field. You're good at what you do. You've been doing this for yonks. We're going to get you away from this said party, right? But we're going to keep you in the field because you have tenure. I mean, I've been doing this for such a long time. I don't want to lose all that expertise. Besides, it's a growth phase. So I want to grow with that sector, with that industry. I don't want someone to now ruin my career prospects and chances and development because they don't like the look of me, or I'm too assertive, or I'm female, whatever was going on with that person, right? Because I was like, I'm not going down that rabbit hole with you, but I know my worth and no one's going to tell me otherwise. So it was a timing thing because I had to choose my moment. I had to choose, one, the right person. So this is where the connector enabler comes in. I knew it wasn't going to be said manager, and I knew it wasn't going to be his boss, right? Because they were too close to the coal face, and only God knows what they were feeding each other and what that dynamic was. I don't know what was going on there, but I had to choose the right person, right? So I had to identify the connectors or enablers in the organization that were gonna be on my side. And I had to make sure they actually had the power and the authority to make things happen, right? So I didn't just speak to anybody in HR. I went straight to the guy at the top, the director. There's no point dealing with the lower levels of management because they're going to escalate it anyway, right? So I was like, look, if I want something to happen, I need to speak to the right people who I know like that can turn things around, right? It so happened, I didn't even know this. Apparently the law was on my side. I mean, there was just so much I didn't know. But by going to the right people, I got more ammunition than I had going in, right? So I went to the unions, I didn't go to union rep, I went to the head of the union. I said, this is what's happening. How do I deal with this, right? And I got legal advice from the unions, right? And they said to me, the law is so on your side. In fact, you are ring fenced. They can't touch you. I didn't know that. I thought I was just fighting for little old me, my reputation, blah, de, blah, de, blah, right? But when I went in and I presented my evidence and my case and what I'd been doing and how long I'd been doing it, they said, no, nobody is allowed to push you out. You only leave when you are ready on your terms. I mean, the stuff that came back, I actually had to sit down to process what was coming at me because I had no idea I had all of this stuff that I could use, right? So that was the unions. Then I went to the HR director and I said, look, this is what's going on. You tell me, am I being unrealistic, escalating this, right? And wanting to push back on this? And the HR director said to me, oh my God, are they really doing this? I said, yes. He said, do they know they could have a legal battle on their hands and they could end up paying you truckloads of money? I don't want to say what I feel like saying, but I'm going to be polite because we're on the JLSM platform, right? He said, they could pay you truckloads of money. And I was like, no ways. And he was like, yes ways, right? So once again, I had another senior person in the organization on my side. Once again, another enabler, another connector, right? That going in, I really didn't know was going to back me up the way he did. But I just knew whoever I was talking to had to be the person with the power, with the authority to actually make changes, right? Who was the third person I went to? Didn't go to my boss at the time, didn't go to his boss. I went 2 levels up, deputy director of the department, of the division. And I said, look, I need to have a word with you. In fact, while I was still umming and ahhing and crafting my email to him, he actually said, let's catch up, let's have a one-on-one. In that one-on-one meeting, he said, something has come to my attention, and I believe there might be a personality clash right there. And I stopped him. I said, no, let me just clarify one thing. I have no issue with the person. I can get on with anybody and everybody. The person is not the problem. It is just that that relationship has broken down. There is no trust. There is no respect, right? So it's not a personal thing. It's a policy thing, because I don't believe this person has followed due process. I don't believe they followed the values of the organization. I don't believe they've been in agreement with the policies of the organization. So it's not a personality thing, it's a process thing, it's a policy thing. So I clarified that from the get-go. I said, let's not get it twisted. I do not have anything against said person. It's the way it's been handled that I have a problem with, right? If I had the evidence given to me, if I had the feedback, if I saw the reports, the so-called feedback they got from third parties, if I saw that, right, I will put my hands up and own up to it. I mean, integrity is everything, like John keeps saying, and his book is about, right? I would do that. But I had seen no evidence to convince me otherwise. In fact, I was producing evidence to refute the allegations, right? So anyhow, so I had 3 people now on site. I had the union guy, I had HR director, and I had my deputy director. This deputy director said to me, leave it with me. I'm thinking of restructuring things anyway. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull out a certain client base because they're not really airlines, they're not really banks. So I'm going to pull them out, and they're still in the aviation space, and you are going to be managing that entire portfolio. Now, looking back now 2 years, when they say hindsight is 20/20 vision, I had no idea with this restructuring, a lot of things were going to come, right? Because when this restructuring was done, I became the internal expert on this part of the business. Nobody else does what I do. I'm the only analyst working on that part of the business, right? And then COVID came, right? So now COVID, rather than get 20 airlines come requesting, oh, can you back us up? Can you do this? We're getting one leasing company, and that leasing company is going to lease to 20 airlines, right? So any business, you'd rather have one request than 20 individual requests. So guess who's been busy and working every weekend, every hour God sends, and everything in between? Moi, because I'm the only person working on that portfolio of clients, right? So now suddenly I've got so much like, oh my God, airtime with board members, with risk people, with all the bosses. Everybody now knows me by name. They pass me in the corridors. It's like, hello, Ivié, hello, Ivie. And I'm thinking, I don't know you. Who are you? And I'm like, but I know you. You're board member so-and-so. They know me by name just because I've been dealing with this batch of clients for the last 2 years, right? So that has given me such a high profile in the organization. My new boss, because now part of this restructuring meant I was away from that old boss. I had an interim boss for about 6 months, which was, I mean, this deputy director said, look, we need to get you away from this person. We feel a good change in management would be good. 6 months in with this guy, he nominated me for 2 bonuses. Now, you try and picture this. 6 months ago, they're trying to get rid of you, saying you're incompetent, you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't have the job, blah, blah, blah. And in 6 months, someone's nominating you for 2 bonuses. Now, anybody reading those nominations, they're going to think, hang on a sec. If 6 months ago she was this bad, why is she being qualified and nominated for XYZ bonuses now, right? So that was somebody who managed me for 6 months, right? In that 6 months, they got somebody in on a permanent basis. He's only been with the organization 20 months now. In those 20 months, I think I've got 5 spot bonuses under this manager. 5. That is apart from my annual bonus. That's apart from annual raises and whatever, just for a piece of work, well done, or a difficult client, or a difficult project, whatever. I just got like spot, you just did something so well, you excelled, you surpassed the expectation. It's been coming, right? So now I'm thinking, my deputy director must be going like that, thinking, hang on a sec, less than 18 months ago, another boss was trying to get rid of this woman. Now suddenly, 6 months interim, she'd be nominated for 2 bonuses. And if we thought that was fluke, there's a new manager who doesn't know any of the background stuff, wasn't here for any of that, but clearly has seen her quality of work, right? And has nominated her for 5 bonuses. I kid you not. Last year, my annual bonus was the largest I've ever had in the organization, and I've been there over a decade. Now that's saying something, right? And I thought that was it. Oh, I've done well, pat on the back, oh, good on you kind of thing. No, but this new boss that I've had now for almost 2 years turns around and says to me, you're an expert at what you do. You're at the top of your game. I can't teach you anymore. Like, you're teaching me now, right? And he says, what's next for Ivié? So I had my mid-year appraisal about 3 months ago now. And he said to me, he said, you got a lot of contacts in the industry. You know a lot of people. You've actually organized talks in-house. You brought experts in to talk about this, that, and the other. He said, what do you want to do next? He said, because you are overdue a promotion. Now, no boss has ever said that to me, ever. He said to me, you are overdue a promotion. Once again, another connector, another enabler, and timing, right? It took me getting away from that boss of 3 years, right? Getting the interim boss for 6 months, timing, getting those 2 bonuses in those 6 months, moving to a new manager, once again, timing. And now this new manager is saying, what's next for Ivié? Literally, he was asking me, where do you want to work in the organization? Let's make it happen. And I thought to myself, who does that? Who asks you that question? There's no opening, by the way, right? I'm in such a niche field, there's no opening. Do you know what? He went to the deputy director and had that same conversation. 3 weeks ago, he comes back to me and he says, we're creating a post. We're going to expand your job spec. We're going to give you added responsibilities so we can justify bumping you up to the next job grade. The next job grade is going to come with XYZ package. He's making this happen. I have not asked for this. He's gone, he's brainstormed, he's come up with this idea. His boss is in agreement. So both of them have hashed out this plan. And they've said, if we give you XYZ more responsibilities in addition to what you're doing, we can bump you up. The only thing I was told to do was, because you have a good relationship with the other manager who you're going to be working with, like the extra responsibilities coming from, go have a chat with him informally and just test the waters and see if he's like responsive to you helping out on his team. Well, guess what? I had a chat with him 2 Fridays ago. The guy's like, where do you need me to sign? Where's the paperwork? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to speak to? One call, not even half an hour. He's like, can we do it now, please? I need your skill set because I don't know numbers. I don't do numbers. I'm a lawyer. Da, 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 da. Can you start tomorrow? Right? This is crazy, right? Timing, connectors, crazy, right? I was not expecting this. So while I was having this conversation, I put feelers out. I've had chats with, really a strong woman in the sector that I know, who I brought into my organization to give a talk. I went to her. We had, oh my God, we probably on the phone on a Zoom call for like 2 hours talking about everything and anything. At the end of that call, she gave me 5 people. She's connected me with 5 of her contacts. She said, I know this person here, that person there. We're going to start a conversation. You will be a gem on anybody's. She went all out. She literally opened her file of facts and just kept calling out names. At the end of that call, my mind was like, oh my God, where do I even start with these 5 people? And then I said, you know what? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because it's something else John says. It's like, come on, diversity, various income streams, just, spread it out a little. So I spoke to somebody else. I'm not joking. In the last 2 weeks, I've had over 6 opportunities come past my inbox. Now, what I do, like I said, is niche, right? So you don't get opportunities coming up as often. If they come, it's once in a blue moon. Fine, thanks to COVID, things are a bit topsy-turvy in my industry, so there's a lot more happening. But 6 in a space of 2 weeks, that doesn't happen. That is phenomenally crazy. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? Some have actually had to say on the get-go, not interested, because I'm like, I'm only one person. I've just got to be savvy here. I've got to be strategic. Like, what's the best fit for me? Where do I want to go? What's my 5-year plan? And so I said to 3 of them outright, no, 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 thanks, right? One of them, I told John the other day, I've been interviewing. So 2 weeks ago, I had the first interview. Now, I know it went well because I met the head of the team, blah, blah, we hit it off. In fact, they wanted 1 hour for the interview. I think we spoke for an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. They were so enthralled, we just carried on talking, right? They only stopped because they had another meeting. So I knew that went well. The second interview, I was a bit, not quite sure, because I got a few tricky questions and I was like, oh my God, did I handle that right? Because it's not really what I do on a day-to-day, but I have done it. So I haven't done it as much. But then I thought, hang on a minute. Why would I want a job that I tick 100% of all the boxes? There's got to be some challenge to it, right? Some stretching element to it. So I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I was still and ahhing. They came back 24 hours later and said, you have a 3rd interview. Now, 3rd and final interview was last Friday, right? And I just thought, I'm going to go in, I'm going to be myself, right? I'm just going to say it like it is. Once again, connectors. I'm saying this because I think in the last week, it's just dawned on me, timing and the right people that will help you get to where you want to go. It's so crucial, because I was thinking, we're in December already. What's going to happen? This is going to be a 2022 kind of thing, right? But timing, I promise you, when everything is aligned and the universe is sending you that kind of energy that you're projecting, and people are fighting for you and making things happen, it's phenomenal. I've been in a daze the last 48 hours. I kid you not. Yesterday, I think I was walking on clouds because I could not believe what was going on. So I had this last and final interview on Friday. And I'm sorry, I know I'm talking about myself, but I'm just hoping that it's resonating with someone. And I hope you're getting what I'm saying, because this doesn't happen very often. But when the universe partners with us, when you dreamed of something so much and for so long, where you can touch it, you can feel it, you can taste it, you've created the reality in your mind, right? It's up to the universe to partner with you to pull it down into reality. So when it starts showing up, you're going to get that like warm and fuzzy, oh my God, is it really happening moment? Because it's surreal at the best. You have to pinch yourself to say, oh my God, is it really happening? I mean, I've dreamed of this for so long. I cannot believe it's happening, right? Now, this 3rd interview, this round of interviews I've been doing is with a bank. Now, I have no banking experience. I've never worked in a bank, right? I work with banks in my current job, but I've never worked in a bank, right? Now, banks very rarely take people on with no banking experience because their systems, their processes, it's a very different world. It's a whole new, right? These guys were so keen, right? So I had the final interview on Friday. Sunday, who works on Sunday? Sunday, I get an email saying they're hashing out an offer, all good news. You should be hearing soon. They're super excited. They want you on board. I don't do business on Sunday if I can help it. But I got this email. I had to read it, right? And so I'm thinking, who sends emails on Sundays, right? So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it was fluke. Maybe they were meant to time it so it could hit my inbox on Monday. Well, Monday morning, I get another one. And the offer is in my inbox. I had the final interview on Friday, right? I get the offer on Monday with that Sunday email in between. Now, please hang on to your seats because this does not happen often. The offer they've made is more than double what I'm currently on. This is no benefits, nothing, just the base is more than double what I'm currently on. When you add on the bells and whistles and extras, it's stupendous. I don't know how, I don't know why. I picture, when you want to have options and you know what sum of money will give you the options. Options is a very interesting word because suddenly when you don't have to count the pennies and budget so much, options are great. With this offer, options are going to be my barest minimum. I haven't said yes yet because I just thought to myself, I need to process this. I need to sleep on it. So I got it yesterday. I slept on it, woke up this morning. I've been walking on clouds because I can't, that somebody wants me as badly as they clearly do, where they've made contact on a Sunday and again on a Monday after the final being on a Friday, it doesn't happen. And so that got me thinking, what do I talk about today? Timing, when the universe aligns, when everything is in sync, even you can't stop it from, once those floodgates are open, that's it, it's coming. There's a time for everything under the sun. Time to laugh, time to cry, time to sleep. I promise you, when that timing clicks, you cannot stop it. Even if you don't want to, you cannot stop it from happening. And if you have the right connectors, the right enablers, I promise you, that combination, irresistible. Why am I saying all of this? For each of those conversations, those interviews, my posture was incredible. And this is down to you, John. I went in there saying, you know what? I know my self-worth. I know what I bring to the table. So when I was talking like the expert that I know I am. But it took my current boss reminding me that I'm an expert. Because 3 years ago, that manager said to me I was incompetent. So for a season, I was doubting myself, saying, do I really know my stuff, right? But with that interim manager, this platform, because this happened from COVID, from last year, and my new manager, suddenly my posture was undeniable. I sat up straight back and they asked me questions. I fired my questions right back at them because I knew they were interviewing me as well as I was interviewing them. Do I really want to work with you? Do I like your organization? What do you stand for? So I was asking questions and they were probably taken aback thinking, damn, she's confident. Like she has the balls to ask this. I'm like, why not? You're asking me questions. I'm going to ask you questions, right? But, so when I say this platform, if you are not here, if you're not part of this conversation, the transformation is phenomenal, right? If I can see changes in my life, I promise you it's coming your way if it hasn't hit you yet. Just keep coming, keep showing up, keep participating. This stuff, this energy is contagious. It is absolutely contagious. So my posture now is nobody can tell me I don't know what I'm about. Nobody can question my expertise, my worth. I know what I'm about, right? I'm not even, there's no denial, there's no ambiguity. I know that I know that I know, right? And not that I'm being full of myself or being proud or, fluffing my feathers. No, it's just, I've been doing this a long time. Mastery, right? I've done this every single day, and every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Another thing John says, right? And it's working. It works, guys. It works. So timing, connectors, that combination, I'm still reeling from the reality of it all. I haven't said yes, right? So of course, they're like chasing me now to say, oh my God, we sent it yesterday. Today is come and gone. Like, what's going on, right? Like, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just deep breath. So I've had to speak with my current boss, because obviously I had to tell him, you said to me to put feelers out. I've done that. I don't think he was expecting this response so quickly. So now he's sending me crying emojis because he's like, oh my God, who's going to do what you do? I said, but boss, you asked me to do this, right? And I've done it. So here we are. So he's happy for me, but sad at the same time, which I understand, right? My current employer has pretty much said there's no way they can match this package. No way. They've tried to do the numbers. They just know it's not going to happen, right? So my boss said to me, hang 10, let's speak tomorrow. There are a few other conversations he was having internally. So I can't get back to the bank until Thursday at the earliest. So I said to them, so I just sent them an email to say, thanks for the offer. I'm just having 1 or 2 conversations internally. I will get back to you by Thursday, Friday at the latest, just to give me time, because I'm still processing. My boss is still trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat, right? And I still have the other things I'm talking about, right? My one mentor said, oh, they could have done better, or they could have upped it by this. I'm thinking, what? Up to what? This is already stupendous, right? But he's already thinking, and I'm like, no, they've already said there's no negotiation. This offer is final, right? So one other person has said, another mentor has said to me, go back and say you're interested, but ask a few other questions, right? So at least you keep the conversation going. So it's like everybody that I know in the sector who has my back, who I've worked with, who I haven't worked with, who's heard of me, they're all weighing in on this. It is amazing, phenomenal. So that's where I'm coming from today, that timing. There's nothing I can do to stop this train. There's absolutely nothing. The bank they're coming. They're sending, they're emailing, they're calling, they're asking me for LinkedIn requests. It's happening. I can't stop this train if I wanted to, because everything is aligned. My boss has my back like no boss has ever had my back. I've never had this experience before. And so in a way, I'm like sad. I'm like, do I really want to leave this boss? But you know, when the student is ready, the master shows up, that kind of thing. So I think I was a bird in the nest, and now I'm ready to fly. So it's probably time to leave the nest, right? And move on. So there's all of this is playing like subconsciously, and I'm trying to process, but it's surreal. I'm pinching myself every other 2 minutes, like, is this really happening? But I'm saying to everybody on this call that it's December, 2021 is not over yet. A lot more can happen. Timing, connectors, and you just don't know when everything's going to come together. I promise you, don't give up. Don't count yourself out. Even when you think there's no time, oh my God, there is time. It's just keep doing what you're doing. Even when you don't see that seedling coming out the ground, just trust the process. Trust that stuff is happening even though you can't see it. I've been trying, and I was counting, I've been trying for 9 years to get here. 9 years. I could have given up. 9 years I've been trying to make this move. It's only happened now. But guess what? I never gave up. 2 years ago, I was still interviewing. 6 months ago, I was interviewing. But nothing came together until now. I could have given up and said, you know what? I've got a good job. I like what I do. It's okay. I like my boss. I like my team. I'm going to stop interviewing. But I never stopped putting myself out there. For 9 years, I've been doing this. I've spoken to, I don't know how many banks in those 9 years, right? I've spoken to all sorts of companies that do what I do that I know have vacancies. It hasn't happened. Why is it happening now? Clearly, it's because I'm ready for that. And I have to thank this platform. John, I cannot say thank you enough. Posture, the conversations on here, the books we read, the conversations we have, the input from everybody on the calls, just hearing your stories. So much has happened in the last 18 months, 2 years. I cannot tell you what a change it's been. So I don't know who out there needs to hear that things can change and will change. just don't stop trying. Don't give up on yourself. Don't count yourself out. Timing is a wonderful thing. And there are connectors, there are enablers in our lives that will help us get to where we want to go. They could be suppliers in our businesses. They could be our branding experts. They could be our advertising person. They could be our courier service. It could be our accountant. I don't know who, but there is somebody on your business journey, in your personal journey, that is a connector. I mean, John is one. Shannon is another one. There are people on this platform. Emma is a connector in her own right. Adrian Garner is a connector in his own right. Ego is a connector in her own right. There are just so many of us on this platform that are connectors, enablers in one way or another that can help us get to where we want to be. So please, timing, connectors or enablers, I'm still mulling this over. It's ridiculous. I just don't know how, but I'm so grateful that I just stuck with it and I carried on doing what I could when I could. Even when I fell down, I got back up again. I didn't stay down. I took the next step. Sometimes it was painful, right? But I still kept going. And now it's all coming together. Even if I want to stop this, I can't. It's happening, right? And I just thought somebody might need to hear this in December, the very last month of 2021. And you might be thinking, oh my God, this year I wanted XYZ to happen. Will it happen? When will it happen? Can it happen? But I'm here to say to you, stick with the process. It can, it will, and sooner than you think. Don't give up. It's phenomenal when it does. And it's a wonderful feeling when you can share your news and we can all cheer you on. It's great. And I'm expecting testimonies, updates, success stories galore from this family. It's amazing. So I'm going to zip it and I'm going to open it up to you guys.
Hey, Ivié.
Hi, John.
Wow, enthusiasm. I just heard enthusiasm. That is spectacular. Congratulations on all your results. And I know you as much as I like to flow acknowledgement and validation and power in your direction, you keep flowing it in this direction too. So thank you for the acknowledgement. I'm just a messenger, right? I mean, one of the things that I've noticed is that we already have it, right? You are discovering and demonstrating more and more the power that already is you, as you, right? And so one of the things that I think we all get, when we're awake to it, is just a reminder of, perhaps some clarifications, or if we can attack, the same truth at 100 different angles or 1,000 or however many angles it takes to have something become workable for us. Because look, we all got these books. I didn't like create some new, library or some new truth or something. It's the same truth. We're just using it to a higher degree now, right? Well, we can choose to. We can choose to. Hence the title of my first book, right? I mean, here's all the wisdom of the ages. So what? Right? Are you going to do something with it? Integrity, right? Or not, your choice. So thank you for choosing to be the powerful Ivié. In fact, those who are newer here in the community, I called Ivié Ivie for like a month. I didn't know how to say her name. And now she is like one of my favorite people in the universe. So anyway, thank you, Ivie. Glad you're here.
Thank you, John. Missy, you got your hand up.
Ivié, you are a force of nature. And it feels like I'm being carried upstream, up a mountain when you speak. And especially knowing what you went through with some physiology a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And even then you didn't let those people who were in your ear bring you down. You knew, your subconscious knew where you were going. You made all of this happen.
With a lot of help, Missy, with a lot of help.
Yes, but they came because you made that possible. Without your mindset, without your energy, without your confidence, without your aura, I can't even think of the words to describe you. It's you did it, and you've got to take some credit for that. You made it possible. I mean, you've read Joseph Murphy, you brought this to fruition yourself. And they came at the right moment, because that's when they were supposed to come, because you started in motion. And that gentleman, I won't call him a gentleman, that person did you a service by being such an a-hole. And that's also a negative thing can spark you into amazing glory. And you are there because you deserve it. And thank you for the inspiration you have just given me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Missy. I mean, it's interesting you talk about that one individual, because when all of that was happening, a few of his buddies came to me and said, you know, do you really want to fight this? Why don't you just leave the organization? And I said, no one's going to push me out until I'm ready to leave, right? Because I'm not just here for me, but I'm here for those who are coming behind me, right? And I said, I'll leave when I'm ready. And I said, secondly, it's important for younger people to see somebody that looks like them in a senior position. And I've since had to interview and hire a whole host of younger people joining the organization. And something that's come up again and again is they've been so happy to see someone that looks like them on the panel in the business. So they've not been hesitant to join the organization, right? And so I just knew no one was going to push me out until I was ready. And I still haven't given in my resignation. So I'm still there, right? But it's just amazing that you say, I think I needed that, because that was a wake-up call of sorts to say, maybe the time in this organization is coming to a close. But I just didn't know how I was going to navigate the transition, right? And it took having my new boss to say, just put feelers out and see what's out there, because I'd taken a break from putting myself out there because I'd gotten so many knocks and so many no's that I just thought, let me just regroup, let me just recover, let me refill, refresh before I put myself out there again, right? And so I took this spell of, I'm going to focus on JLSM, I'm going to read the books, be part of the conversations, get into my new team, get to know my new boss, help him settle into the organization, don't jump ship, all of that stuff. But it's taking him seeing me, and he said, no, I can't teach you anything, right? You need to get challenged. What's the next thing for Ivié, right? So, but that was the impetus I think I needed, that 3-year, not so nice environment, right? But yeah, you're right. We just never, and the universe knew. When all of that was happening, the universe knew how this was going to play out. It wasn't a surprise. It's me who's been surprised with the way things have come out, right?
But you should not be. You should not be. A part of you is forgetting who you are. Like, I have no right to ask this question, but first of all, it's past time for you to write a book, okay? But if they match or exceed this offer, what are you going to do?
I know. It's crazy. I know.
Because they'll create another position for you. In fact, your boss will probably have to leave, and you'll see. Oh, please keep us informed.
I will. Thank you so much, Missy. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a roller coaster over 2 weeks, but yeah, good. But yeah, just emotional high, and I don't even know. I haven't quite landed yet, but yeah, getting there slowly. Does anybody else want to weigh in on this conversation? Okay, I'm not going to belabor the point, but thank you so much, everyone. I don't think there's anything else on the calendar tonight. So we're back tomorrow for a general session. And yeah, thank you all so much for your support, for your comments, for your encouragement. John, once again, thank you for just creating the space for us to have these conversations. I mean, I keep saying to you, you will never know the ramifications, the nth degree of what you've created here. I think we're still peeling off the layers, because so much more is to come. And this is just the beginning. We haven't seen how big, how far, how wide this platform is going to go, the impact the people on here are going to have in their worlds and in the bigger world. I mean, this is just starting. So I'm amazed. If we're already seeing and hearing all we're hearing now, it's only going to get bigger and better. And I'm just so grateful to you, John, that you've kept this going, because you could have decided when the numbers started dwindling to say, you know what, let's call it a day. People are out and about doing other things, but you stuck with it. You've given us your commitment that, what have we actually done to deserve this, right? but you've committed to us in more ways than, you know, and I don't know. I'm just so grateful. Yeah, I just have a heart full of gratitude right now. I can't say thank you enough. So thank you everyone that keeps showing up. I mean, usual suspects, Missy, now you're here. Daisy, Edward, my brother in Bradford, you know, Mandy, Giovanna, great to see you today. It's just usual suspects. It's so good to see familiar faces. And there was a message from Linda earlier on. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm just amazed. And I can't wait to see how much further we're going to go with this. Missy,
Well,
you wanted to say something again?
I do. On that topic alone, it doesn't matter how many people are here. The people that are here, I think it is up to us to try to stop what is happening in this world, the bad part. And we have the knowledge and the will, and I hope we all have the impetus from within to try to do something about that, because if we don't, no one else will. And that doesn't mean we're going up, you know, with our rifles, but I wouldn't mind that. But from the mind, we can change what is happening, and we have the duty to do that, because it's going bad. But this group, this platform that John has given us, is a place where it could be done. I think it's great reading the books, but maybe once this needs to be something else about that we need to, you know, be putting out there as a group, That's just what I wanted to say. John, get on that right away.
And Missy, just to let you know, you're not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, I don't know what person to tell me about writing a book. So clearly this is a message the universe wants me to get. So I keep hearing it over and over and over again. So, so thank you for reminding me yet again to get on it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Sandy, you're here. Thank you, Sandy, for being here. So yeah, guys, that's it. But thank you so much, guys. And yeah, look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, hopefully. But otherwise, let's go out there and make spectacle of ourselves, like John always says. I mean, there's so many Johnisms on this thing. It's like, sometimes I've got his voice playing in my head. So. But guys, let's dream big. Let's make it happen. I'm cheering you guys on from the sidelines. Let's do this. Thank you so much, everyone. Ciao.